Right. So finally reviewing, follow-up review, I guess, follow-up video to my clone comparison of Kilian's Angel Share. In my last video, I reviewed Dappers and their interpretation of Kilian's Angel Share. Sorry for the lighting. As well as Dua's. Dua had just released theirs at the time, their Angelic Elixir. Here's Dappers. Comes in those kind of generic decant bottles. Anybody who's familiar with Dapper knows the bottles. I do like the new bottles, even though they're still the cheap generic decant bottles. The logos look a lot nicer. The bottles look nicer too. And then, of course, you got your Duo bottles, also cheap decant bottles, thicker glass than the Dapper version, and they have their normal Adobe stock photo labels. Some people like them, some people like cheesy. Doesn't really matter to me. I like the juice. That said, I will say I do prefer houses like Alexandria, like Genre, when it comes to presentation, because I do believe they are a step up. But at the end of the day, presentation to me is probably the least important thing from a house. Again, it's more the juice that matters to me. That's why I'm buying it. That's just me. I know some people really care about presentation. Some people care about the box. I don't care about any of that. So anyway, my first video, for those who have watched it, I compared Dappers and Dua's versions. I ultimately decided that, to me, Dua did it better. Dappers smelled good, and is one of the best smelling Dappers that I have honestly came across. I think they've improved a lot. There's just something about Dapper, especially with the Angel Share, but I also got it from the Black Dragon, their interpretation of Black Dragon. When you smell it, it's off-putting to the senses, in the sense that it bothers my sinuses in a way, and it could be me specifically, but when I smell it up close, and I think it's, especially with this, I think it's because of the cinnamon that's in this, it has a response that is similar to if I actually inhaled cinnamon. It makes me want to sneeze. It's just not good. Not It smells good, but it's not what I really want out of a fragrance. That said, the sillage is better. It performs good. It projects well. Comparing it to the Dua, the scent profiles aren't completely off. They smell pretty close. Dua's version is just smoother. It's better blended. And to me, it's not as just harsh all around. Harsh as far as, again, me having that kind of reaction when I smell it, but also it just smells smoother, more well-rounded. They both project very well. Prices are pretty similar, sort of. So Dapper used to be really cheap. They've been going up in price pretty significantly. I think it's because of where they're getting the oils from. A lot of these oil houses that sell the oils to these places have a hierarchy, a tiered hierarchy. Okay, so they'll have a premium line, a niche line, an ultra premium line, normal designer line. That is why you are seeing this increase in some of these. So when Travis says the oils cost more, it's not the ingredients. It's not, he's buying oils from these houses and adding perfumer's alcohol to them and then reselling. Nothing against Travis. A lot of these houses are doing that. And it's just what's being done. So those oils, the ultra premium oils, cost more money. So he's selling them for more. So that's why you got this Angel Share now. When you used to have the $25 Dappers, they went up to like 30. I think this is $45 or something for Angel Share for 30 mil. So it went up significantly from when they first rolled out. And when you think of Duas, I think theirs is 60, but they always have the 25% off, 30% off discount. So that brings it close to the same price. And that's something that really bothers me. Everybody, and this is a side note, but I just want to address it. A lot of people on Dua's site have been talking down about Alexandria because saying, oh, it's so expensive. Dua's always has the sale. Yeah, they do. But when you're factoring the actual price point you're paying, they're very similar. Alexandria's 30 mils $42.99. Dua's 30 mil will start at $60, $65. Some of them are $55. So when you put the 30% off on that 65, that $60, it's still going to be more expensive than the $42.99 at Alexandria. And that's prior to Alexandria's discount. They always have active Alexandria 10 and for quite some time now Alexandria 15. So when you apply that to that, it brings it down a lot cheaper than the Dua. Now, Dua offers free shipping. Alexandria doesn't. So when you add in Alexandria shipping to that lower price point, it bumps it back up. And when Dua has free shipping, they're very close in price point at the end of the day. When you factor in the discounts, factor in shipping, everything, Alexandria and Dua are very close in pricing. So it's annoying because people just ignore all of that and just shit on a house for no reason. Dua or Alexandria. So anyway, side tangent. It's just something it's really been annoying me. And I felt like I needed to address. So anyway, we have a new competitor, and that is Alexandria's version. Super excited about this for a bunch of reasons. All right, one, because I love Alexandria. I love the House of Alexandria. Really enjoyed Kilian's Angel Share. Super happy to get that. But more importantly, this was done. Ultimately, they ended up naming this as a tribute to Carlos after he passed away. And so the name of it is called Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. And it's even cooler if you look at the bottom. It says rest in peace. And a lot of people were talking about, oh, well, was this, this should have been something that, type of fragrance he enjoyed. And Kilian's Angel Share is not really the kind of stuff that Carlos tended to enjoy. But I think them doing this was awesome for numerous reasons. And I think the reason them choosing Angel Share also was a good idea. The reason I say this is one of the most highly anticipated releases from the house. There was a lot of hype about this. A lot of people were looking forward to this. And it's one that I think is going to be around for a long time. And for those reasons, I think that them choosing to name this after Carlos made it that much more meaningful. Okay? And to me, not just naming it after him, so Carlos will live on, kind of in our memories, and he's going to anyway, but this was just constant reminder of him. Every time I see the bottle, the actual jingle from his channel plays in my head. So it's really neat. And what they did is they took it a step further. So it wasn't just naming it after him. The first 55 milliliter bottles, the sales from the first 50, are going towards his family in the funeral fund. That's over $3,000. So hats off to Haney. I think that was awesome. And I remember talking about this when he had passed, and I think to me it was such a just amazing thing to see the responses of the fragrance community, how supportive everybody was. And they reminded me that why this community is so important. It's an escape from all the craziness that's going on out there. All our differences outside in our daily lives, all the stress, all the conflict, all the just crap we all deal with. Fragrance in itself takes us away from that and brings us to our place, or gives us confidence, or makes us happy, or calms us down, whatever the case may be. We have reasons why we wear fragrance and different fragrances, and it'll do that as well. But the community really does that. This is one of the few places online where people are just so understanding, caring, loving, and do nice things for each other all the time, and just show appreciation for each other. And it's not that constant back and forth and bickering. And I'm not trying to downplay politics or downplay the importance of those issues at all. But man, it's nice every once in a while to have an escape from reality and to be able to see what we as people can be when we choose to be. And I think Carlos is a reminder of that. He was always such just a very nice, generous guy who really enjoyed this community and was kind of just an example of the best in all of us. So I love this. I love that Alexandria did that. I think it speaks volumes about Alexandria in the house and Haney and everything else. So anyway, I'll get into the actual review now. Sorry, I know this is very long, and I do apologize, but I will compare these. I think the easiest way for me to do this is, first of all, people who aren't familiar with Kilians Angel Share, which I imagine most of you all are. It is a sweet, gourmand kind of scent, very good in the winter, colder months, would not use it in the heat. It has cognac on the top. It gives it this nice boozy note. There's woods in there, several different woods notes. Praline gives it a nice sweetness. Tonka bean, I believe there's vanilla as well, and cinnamon. It's this spicy, sweet, woody, gourmand fragrance that just smells fantastic. Kilians Angel Share is great. Now, that said, it's not very versatile. It's definitely something I would only wear in the colder months, but it is an amazing fragrance. So, how do they compare? Well, I already told you how Dua and Dappers compare, and I do have the dry downs here. So I'll go over the openings first on these. And I will start with Dappers. So I got dry downs here, so I'm trying to keep them separated. And this is what I said before. When you smell it up close, Dappers, there's this harshness to it. It smells good. It's just kind of, I don't know. But it does smell good. It smells creamy, sweet. You definitely smell the cinnamon. Okay. Now, I'll get into it in a little more here in a sec. Duas. So Duas, the cinnamon's definitely there in the opening. It just smells, again, better blended and definitely smoother. But they're both super strong. The cinnamon's not as crazy in the Dua, and I like that. It smells just a bit more well-rounded. So those are the main differences in those, and I did address those before. So now let's do this one. All right, this is what I'm gonna say. Haney, this was worth the wait. Okay, so there was this delay. This was supposed to come out, I think, on a Saturday originally. Then it got kicked to a Monday, and then it was going to release it Monday at 10 o'clock. Then it never came out, and then days went by, and then it finally just dropped. Okay, it's frustrating at the time. Oh man, because we had all waited for it. We were all excited for it. But man, you can't rush perfection. I will sum that up. The biggest difference to me about Alexandria, two main differences. One, this smells the most well-rounded, the most well-blended out of all of these. Okay? Extremely smooth, extremely seductive. It has that, whereas Dappers, I smelled it and I'm like, this smells good, but I'm kind of like, kind of bothering me. And then Duas smells good as well, but in a way kind of smells, and it smells different on paper. I will say on skin, Dua smells better. But on the paper, it smells kind of flat. Not in a bad way. It's almost kind of like a toned down version. Now, it is strong on skin. I will say that. So don't take that as I'm saying Dua's isn't good. It is. But what I noticed on this, the first time I wore this when I got it, and very different than the other two clones. The opening of this, the cognac note is very prominent, and it comes down into the mid. Now, when it dries down, a lot of it goes away, and it smells closer to the Dua version, and to the Dapper to some extent. But in that opening, you really get the cognac note, and I love it. I love it because Kilian's Angel Share to me, and these two clones, I love it. It's a sweet fragrance, but the two clones, Dua and Dapper, they don't have that cognac opening. At least not like this does. And it makes it almost lean a little too feminine for me. Not there's anything against that, but I don't like super sweet feminine fragrances. This cognac note gives it this nice, it smells amazing, and it also makes it lean actually more unisex. And you get that amazing booze throughout the opening and into the mid. This is amazing. So, again, and I know a lot of people probably think that, I somehow get something from Alexandria because time after time after time, I recommend them. Let me just say this, though. I don't get anything. I only have, a couple hundred subscribers. But so I'm not getting anything from these videos. I'm not getting anything from companies. But the fragrances speak for themselves, okay? One of the complaints that I hear about Alexandria is they don't have they don't have a lot of options, they don't have a lot of releases, and they take a while to drop fragrances. Both of those are true. But I think there's a reason for that. They don't rush it. They don't rush anything. And I think their fragrances, you can tell that. This smells the best out of all three of these by far. And you see Dua dropping 6, sometimes more fragrances a week. You see Dapper doing the same thing. Alexandria might drop 2 a month. And man, the quality speaks for itself. Okay? It's just different. It just hits different. It's the most well-blended, it's the smoothest, in that cognac opening. The cinnamon's there, but it's not a harsh cinnamon that makes you want to sneeze. But it's just, it's so smooth. So, absolutely, the opening, the mid, Alexandria. Okay? 100%. Now, I do have the dry downs here. So I'm trying, on the paper, it's not as good. And I have worn all these, but I want to do a direct comparison. So Dua's on paper is super light. It's not light though. And those of you who have worn it know that. So that's kind of the problem with these comparisons when I'm doing a video. It's not true to self as far as skin goes. It's not 1-to-1 comparison because they are much different on skin. But I'll tell you this. Alexandria smells the best on skin and the best on paper. So when it dries down, again, it smells extremely well blended, Alexandria's does. Some of the cognac note goes away, which is supposed to. In the Real Angel Share, what's in there in the opening. You do get it in the mid, though. And I love that you get it in the mid. But when it dries down, that goes away. You mainly get the sweet praline, kind of like vanilla vibe, too, with the woods and the dry down. There's still some cinnamon in it there. It almost kind of gives the combination, kind of gives this almost like a honey vibe. It smells great, okay? Now, Dua smells really good. And, Dappers isn't bad. They aren't. None of these are bad. And I'll say this. To me, Alexandria, the best of these. No question. No doubt about it. But, do I think if you have Duas, you should go out and buy Alexandrias? I mean, that's up to you. I don't think it's necessary to have both. that's going to be a personal preference. They both smell great. They both smell pretty similar. Now, if you're a huge fan of Kilian's Angel Share and you want the absolute best, then yeah, I think it is worth it. And the reason I like these videos, one, because I like to review them for my own, like, just curiosity and see which ones are best, these clone house comparison ones. And I like to, give my thoughts then to the community. I think it's useful to have that information. But I also liked it because, I waste money in the process, but I get to find which one's the best. And to me, I'm trying to have a collection to me that is just kind of just that. I get rid of stuff I don't think is, if it's not as good, it's not as good. So what that means now is, I have 3 versions of Kilian's Angel Share. Am I going to keep all 3? Absolutely not. I'll keep the Brooklyn Fragrance Lover, and I'm going to get rid of the Angelic Elixir, which I had 2 of those at one point. I bought a backup prior to Alexandria dropping theirs. And I'm going to sell the Dapper one. Okay? Just because. I don't need 3 bottles of Kilian's Angel Share. One, because it's the nuclear performance, all 3 of them are. They're similar enough, and it would take me a generation to go through them. I mean, Kilian Angel Share is such a niche fragrance, but also a niche as far as when you can wear it. So no, I'm not going to. But, I don't know. I don't think I would if you're not super into it and you already got Angelic Elixir and you love Angelic Elixir. Maybe try sampling Brooklyn Fragrance Lover. Maybe you do like it that much more. I do. But I know to some of you probably won't, or you don't care enough. But if you do want that cognac opening, if you do want a slightly more actual unisex, feels more masculine, and I do know that Dua did put on their website that their version was feminine, but I don't know if that was just because whoever's putting it on the site messed it up instead of putting unisex, or if it was because they felt like theirs actually kind of did lean more feminine. I don't really know. But last thing I will say. Dapper, when they launched, there was a bunch of people who work for Dapper who were really pushing, this is the, we're the first to have this, we're the first to release this. And they were. So, props to that, I guess. But I think this shows, if nothing else, sometimes it's worth the wait. Okay? And this is a case where it was worth the wait. And I did hear some comments about, they're all getting these from the same oil houses. That may be true, but I can tell you when they're blending them or they're mixing the perfumer's alcohol and what other additives they have in, because I know Dua adds their own additives as well into the mix, they're doing something different, okay? And I'm not saying they're drastically different. There could be the same oils in these, but something is making them jump out different. Something is making them blend better or blend differently. And I can tell you, while Dua and Alexandria might be getting them from the same oil house, because the quality seems very close on a lot of their offerings, I just think Alexandria smells a little better. Dapper, if they are getting them from the same, if all 3 of these are from the same oil house, something's happening. Something's drastically happening, because there are differences. But that said, a lot of these, they are getting them from oil houses. I don't know if Alexandria and Dua are. I don't. For all I know, Dapper's not either. But I don't think, a lot of these smaller houses have machines to break down the notes. I don't think they're buying natural ingredients. I don't think they're going in a lab with chemists and creating fragrances. I just don't think that's happening. Okay? Especially people who are working out of their garage or their house. It's just not. Now, could Dua do that? It's a family-run business. They've expanded now, so now they probably could. Do I think they were able to do that back when this started? No, I don't think they had the resources to do it. Do I think Alexandria was doing that? Now, for sure, I think they could too. Were they doing it back then? I don't know. I don't know enough about Haney. I really don't. I don't know. All I know is, like I said, out of these 3, Alexandria's is the best, in my opinion. It is top notch. Angelic Elixir's close second, and then Dapper's is good for a Dapper. It's good. It's definitely one of their better releases, but it just does not hold up when compared to the other two. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful. Sorry it was long. Sorry I went on side tangents. It's just stuff I felt like needed to be covered. Kept hearing about. Just for whatever reason I wanted to air out that information. So I will have another one. I'm actually going to do a comparison of Alexandria's Haney or Havez 1984 with Carlisle. I thought that would be kind of cool to do. They do have similar notes in scent profiles.